Hello, everybody, and good morning. Hopefully, I sound good. So I've posted a practice quiz number 3, and I thought it's better if I just record a video and solve the questions and share it with you guys. I think that's going to be easier. So, first of all, in your quiz, you're going to see these instructions, fill out your name, student ID, computer number, and you're going to have 4 worksheets to work through. Right now, I have a couple extra questions as well. So, let's go ahead and try the first question. So, in this first question, what you need to do is that you want to replicate a graph that looks like this and replace where I have my name, replace that with your own name. So this is a column chart. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select my graph. I'm going to select my table, and you also need to include the title of every column. So that is what we do. Let me just minimize this zoom bar. Okay, let's leave it there. So let's select our data set. You know what? Do not select the total row. We don't need that. So select the data, and we're gonna go to the Insert tab. In the Insert tab, under the Charts subgroup, you are clicking on a 2D column. And here we have some parts of our graph ready. So we need to add a couple of elements. Let's click on this plus sign. We need the axis titles and data labels. We don't want those. And we also need the legend. That's like the tiny guide that's next to your graph, unless you know what every column means here. So now we need to change the axis title. So I'm going to click on the axis title. When it is selected, I'm pressing the equal sign and then click on the title that I want to show on my horizontal axis. And I press enter. So you could alternatively do this manually, but I don't recommend it. I think this is an easier way to do it. And I think in your quiz, I'm gonna tell you to do it like this, dynamically, basically, so it changes. So make sure you know how to do this. So again, press equal, select number of seats, and here I have my axis title ready. And for the title of the graph, I don't have the text somewhere, so I'm just gonna type that. Parliament. Press enter, so you come to the next. What am I doing? I'm going back and forth between Mac and Windows, so that's why it's a bit jumpy here. So then select this name. I'm selecting my own name, and when this window pops up, I'm changing the font color. Or if you didn't see this window, you need to go to the Home tab, and in the Home tab in the font section, you can change that. So yeah, let's take a look. Everything pretty much looks the same, and we are fine. So in the quiz, if you weren't sure that something looks exactly like the picture, you can let me know and I can confirm if you're good to go or you need to add some more elements. So question 2. So in question 2, we want to replicate this graph. So let's select this. And again, we are selecting the area with the titles of every row and column, but ignore the we can ignore the totals. So again, we are going to the Insert tab under the Charts group. And this time, you want to drop a 100% stacked column chart. Okay, so now let's make it look exactly like that. So one thing we see is that we need the title for the axis. So we only need the title for the vertical axis. So to remove the title for the primary horizontal axis, I can just remove this check mark here. So let's see. I don't have the text for the axis title, so I'm just gonna double click on this and type this guy here. For the chart title, we want it to be cyclist preference. Okay. And then just change the color of your name. And yeah, so the other thing that we need are the data labels. Again, click on this plus sign and put a check mark next to the box for data labels. And this pretty much looks the same, so we are good to go. So let's move to question 3. So in question 3, we want to try to replicate a graph that looks like this. So again, we don't have the raw data to create this histogram. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create a column chart and we're going to make it look like a histogram because we don't have our raw data. So again, let's select our table. We're going to go to the Insert tab. Under the chart subgroup, click on a column chart. Okay, so one thing that we need to do is to make these columns closer to each other so there's no gap between them. To make that happen, I'm gonna need to double click or more on one of these columns, each of them. And when I do that, this format area shows up on the right of my screen. So click on this last icon that looks like these columns next together. And you see there is an option to change the gap width. Right now it's 219. I'm gonna reduce that to 0. So my column widths look pretty much the same. Let's see what else we need. We need to add axis titles. So for the horizontal axis, I have amount as my title. So I'm just gonna, let's redo this. Primary horizontal. So I'm gonna click on my axis title text, press equal, and then select amount and press enter. For the axis title, for my vertical axis, we're doing the same thing. Just click once, press enter, click on number of accounts, press enter. And we have the dynamic title for our chart. Now I want to change the title of my graph. Double click so you can edit the text inside. Number of active accounts frequency. And then just massa under that, change the color. And with this adding your name in a red color. I just want to make sure that you know how to do it in general. So in your entire quiz, if you're able to do this once, that means, I mean, you know how to do it. So that is fine. And it's better to have it in all of the questions. But yeah, at the end of the day, if I know that you can do this, you should be fine. Okay, so looks pretty much the same. So we're ready to move to the next question. So in the next question, you want to replicate something like this. To create the histogram, we need to select all our data sets, click on Insert. In the charts area, right in the middle, we have this histogram option. Click on that and select this histogram. Now we have an issue. Here I only have 4 pins, but in the target graph, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 number of bins. So we need to change the number of bins. To do that, you need to double click on one of these interval values. Double click exactly on that. And again, in the format access area, again, click on this clustered columns icon. Under the access option, we have a couple of choices for our bins. And I'm going to click on the number of bins. Right now, number of bins is 4. I rather have that as 10. Press enter. And here we have our target graph ready. Just make sure that all the intervals match, which they do. One other thing is the title. And for this one, we don't have the access titles. And as always, if you do something more advanced, if you add titles here, that is fine. Anything more advanced that we are already doing is even better. Okay, so I need to add my name as well. Masa. Oh, good enough. Okay, so next graph. So in the next graph, we want to do a combination kind of graph or display. So for a couple of months, we have revenue, COGS, which I think is cost of goods stocked, stored, something like that. And then we have the profit margin, I believe. So we want to replicate the following graph. Revenue and COGS are columns, and margin is just a trend bar. And see how we have a secondary axis. That is because numbers that we have for margins are vastly different from what we have for revenue and cost. So that's better to look at them on a different axis. So first of all, let's select all our data. Click on Insert, and we want to click on the line or area chart and select one of these guys. So the first things first, let's make the axis for the margin, change the axis for the margins. So you want to click on the trend line for the margin, and we go again to the series option. In the format data series area, click on these columns. Most of the useful things that you are interested in are under this icon. And you want to select on secondary axis. see how it moves your margin series, and you can read that using this axis on the right. Now, the next thing we need to do is to change the type of display for cost of goods and revenue. So I'm going to click on one of them. Let's click on this guy here. And let's see. We click on them. When it's selected, we go to change chart type under chart design. And we have our options here. So margin is left as a line. And for revenue, you want to have it as a clustered column. And the same thing for cost of goods. Click on OK, and here we have our graph. So one thing that's important here is to add the axis titles. You want to help people to know what they are reading. So for this guy, I want to have it margin. Let me just create a dynamic title. Click once, press equal. Click on the title that you want and press enter. And for the other one, I don't have this exact text that I want to replicate. So I'm going to double click on the title and type this myself. Revenue, cost of goods sales. And other thing is that let's just remove the chart title, or you can add it if you want. And axis title for the months, I haven't added that in my example, but I will add it here. Months, and everything looks pretty much the same. And in this example, I don't care about these gaps between the columns, so it is fine. And again, when in doubt, just ask me. So let's move to question 6. So in question 6, you want to replicate the following two graphs. Remember in the class on Monday, we talked about this scatter plot that shows X and Y variables against each other. And then we also had another scatter plot that looks at the residuals or errors of our prediction. So here, this first graph, this first scatter plot is for advertising and sales. So that is what I'm going to select. I'm going to select the two columns for sales and advertising. Go to insert, and under the chart subgroup, the very last one is for scatter plot. I'm just going to drop that. And for a scatter plot, it's also important that you have the titles for your axis. So our x-axis is advertising. Our y-axis is sales. So this is good. Now let's create the residual graph. Residual graph, you're gonna need to have the predicted value on the x-axis and the residuals on the y-axis. Insert again and a scatter plot. Add the axis titles, predicted for the x-axis, and residuals for the y-axis. So we just replicated these two graphs, and yeah, that's all for your quiz. I'm gonna post this on Brightspace. Bye.